Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the semi-finals of the Olympics. This one's South Africa versus France. The host nations coming in as favourites for this matchup. But the Blitzboks, they came in as the 8th ranked side, and boy do they pack a punch. We learnt that in the quarterfinals. We've seen it at times throughout the group stage, and now they get that opportunity to claim a medal at the Olympic Games. But of course, first, the task is to get past this French side where Antoine Dupont has been the main talking point. It's going to be an entertaining one. It's going to be epic when the two sides go head-to-head, and it is only 15 minutes away. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides. First of all, for the South Africans, they have got Ryan Oosterhuizen, Impi Visser, Zane Davids. Those are the forwards, some massive players there for South Africa, all packing the punch. I've mentioned my concerns about Ryan Oosterhuizen's discipline throughout some of the other games. Hopefully, he does behave himself in the semi-final. Tristan Lades and Selvin Davids, two other men in the starting lineup. Here's a bit of a fun fact. Both men, in both of the matches up against the French this year in the Sevens circuit, they have both scored in every game that the two sides have played. Roscoe Speckman, that man has a huge amount of experience under his belt, and then Shilton van Wyk, the last man in the Blitzboks starting lineup for the French. It is Andy Timo, did very well in the quarterfinal up against Argentina. Ryan Rebage, Stephen Perez Martin. The question mark was there. Was it going to be Antoine Dupont in the starting lineup, or were they going to go with that man who has had a lot more experience in the seven side of things in Perez Martin? And they've decided to go with Stephen Perez Martin there. Pauline Riva, Jonathan Joseph, also Zedar, and then Grand Didier, who played an impeccable game of rugby in the quarterfinals up against Los Pumas. I hope you guys are all doing well, though. In the chat, we have got, it looks like a little bit of a split at the moment between people going for France, people going for the South Africans. Hamish, well done on reaching over 50k subs, says Bystander. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated all the support we've been receiving throughout the Sevens weekend. It's been a journey. I learned that today, now that we have ticked over to the 28th, it's been 4 years since we started doing rugby commentary or rugby content on YouTube. So exactly the 4-year anniversary is when we've hit the 50,000 subscribers. But looking through for these two sides at what they have done throughout the regular competition for the South Africans, their first game was up against the Irish. They were defeated 10 points to 5. Second game up against New Zealand, 17 points to 5. So at that point, a lot of Blitzboks supporters and a lot of the world in general thought that that was it for the South Africans. But then their game up against the Japanese happened. They won it 49 points to 5. They only needed to win it by 21 to get ahead of the Samoans and qualify as the 8th team. They won it by the 44, so that actually made South Africa, of all of the teams in the quarterfinals, the Blitzboks are the only side that have lost 2 games at this stage in their competition. Of course, for the French, though, they have also only won 1 contest in their quarterfinal. They did have a draw up against the USA in the early stages of the competition. Then in that quarterfinal, 14 points to 7 win over New Zealand. So certainly wrote those wrongs that they had in that first matchup. They were clinical. Their defense, I think, was almost the best defense we have seen from any side throughout this competition, plus a little bit of slipperiness in the wet conditions made it that much more impressive for the South Africans. But if they play like that in this game, France are going to find it extremely challenging to be able to break through and score themselves heaps of tries. Looking through at for the French in terms of what they have done throughout their competition, they conceded 12 points up against the USA in a 12-all draw between the two teams. They only just beat Uruguay 19 points to 12. So day one, some would argue, still didn't really go the best for the French compared to what it could have been like if they had started with the 2 wins up against the Fijians. It was 19 points to 12. Some great work from Fiji later on in the game to get themselves the victory. And then in their quarterfinal, it was 26 points to 14 in favour of the French. They were 21-0 up at one point. Argentina with the valiant fight back, but in the end, it was just a bit too strong from Les Bleus. But I should mention, in every one of their games, they have conceded a couple tries at least. 2 to be exact in all of their games. So, is that going to be the case here up against South Africa? And how many tries will we see the South Africans score? I believe that they have conceded 2 tries in their first 2 games, but then from there, they have only conceded 1 try in each of their contests. But in the chat, we have got there South Africa from Miles. Congrats on 50k, says Moa Hunters. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for all of that support. And Kiwi Lads Rugby is the best place for rugby on YouTube. Thank you, Hamish, says John. And also, hey, Hamish, I'm stressed out as a South African. My nerves are still buggered after the World Cup, says Sakabola. But yeah, the benefit that I should say for a South African in this case, even though they're coming as underdogs, the last time that these two sides played, we talk about that 1 point margin, right? The last time that these two sides played in 7, the South Africans did win by 1 point, 20 points to 19. The time before that, South Africa also won. So all of the times that they've faced throughout the 2023-24 season have gone the way of South Africa. We have got there, Hamish, you're looking fantastic again. And just a ludicrous try from Perry Baker to give the USA a 14-7 lead with 90 seconds left, says Gus. And yeah, I should mention Ireland are 5 metres out from the line at the moment. So we should see, or we could see, 2 games in a row go to golden point in the sevens, which is pretty entertaining. And this game, to be honest, could be as close as these ones that we've seen go to golden point. And thanks for that stat, says Suckerbull. Yeah, hopefully it made you feel a little bit better. France, the fact that they've got Antoine Dupont off the bench, some would consider that a good thing for South Africa. But at the same time, we've got to remember they scored 21 points before Antoine Dupont even stepped onto the field in their quarterfinal up against Argentina in front of a home crowd that will be heavily in favour of the French. Is that going to be that little extra step up that we're going to need to see from France in this contest? I should mention, whoever wins this game, they will face off up against the Fijians or the Australians, depending on who wins the other semi-final, which is happening just around the corner. Oh, Ireland have a penalty with seconds to play here. If they go for the conversion and they get it over, they win this game. Or do they go for the quick tap and try and score once more where they could lose the contest? Hello from Johannesburg. Let's go to Blitzboks. Says Nico there. I'm totally against France winning at home, says Katzenel. But I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for this matchup. It's only 8 minutes away, and we will be covering the final as well as the bronze final on the channel. So no matter who wins or loses this game, we have still got one more contest for both of these sides. Gosh, I'm nervous for the Blitzboks, says LFG. And Roof working lucky for you. Oh, lucky you got Hamish on tap, says Moa Hunters. And wow, New Zealand versus Ireland, I guess, says Cats. Now, only if Ireland score now, which looks like it could be a likeliness. Terry Kennedy, yep, he did score it. So Ireland versus New Zealand now will be confirmed as the 5th place final, ladies and gentlemen. Box versus Fiji final. Josie is warm. And the box to heat up the field today. And hi from Greece, says the Grumpy Couch. Or the Grumpy Coach, I should say, rather than the couch. What's your score prediction, says Marnus. I believe my score prediction that I gave in my original preview, I believe I said 26-21 in favour of South Africa. So you're not covering the final. We certainly are covering the final, yes. We are also covering the bronze final. We are covering the 5th place final. I believe that is the 3 that we will be covering on the channel. But yeah, we're covering all of the games from now in terms of those 5th, 3rd and 1st place playoffs that will be taking place. But that game between Ireland and USA has just come to a close, which means we are ready to go, ladies and gents, for this contest. Do let me know your score predictions if you haven't already, ladies and gents, as of course there are going to be plenty of big head-to-heads taking place in this game. The physicality is going to be on point, and I cannot wait to see who walks away with the victory in the semi-final. Hello, Hamish, greetings from Johannesburg, from the kids and I, says David, and this is a fair result. Ireland have been better, says Gus, and keep the ball Blitzboks, and ding, says Ronnie. And that's the thing, South Africa, throughout their last game up against New Zealand, their defence was so strong, but also the thing that made them so dangerous was when they were on attack. Selvin Davids, that man is a game changer. The last 2 times that South Africa have played France, both taking place this year, he was able to score himself a try. Another man in that side in the starting lineup has done just that, and that is Tristan Lades. How many times can we break the Irish hearts? Says Mr. All-In. Box destroy the French by 20 points. Says Warren there. And also we got there, my score prediction is 21-20 for South Africa. Another 1 point win for South Africa versus France. Now, can I watch this in the UK? I believe it's on BBC for you guys who are in the UK, so I would highly recommend checking out that as the option. South Africa 21, France 19. Going to be close, nothing more than 5 points, says Nico. And I am in agreement. I said on my preview, I don't see this one being split by any more than 5. it just feels like it's going to be a seesaw back and forth kind of game. And when is it beginning, says Ian, it is taking place in only 5 minutes time. They just had to get Ireland and USA off the field. They're running a little bit behind schedule only because of New Zealand versus Argentina going to golden point time, but they are only 5 minutes away from the kickoff now. Good afternoon, Mr. Smart Hamish, says Brian. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides for the South Africans. It is Ryan Oosterhuizen, Impie Visa, Zane Davids, Tristan Lades, Selvin Davids, Roscoe Speckman, the veteran, and also Shilton van Wyk. For the French, it is Andy Timo, Ryan Rebage, Stephen Perez-Martin, so no Dupont in their starting lineup, Pauline Riva, Jonathan Joseph, Zedar, and also Grandidier, the last man in the starting side. Now, both of these sides have only had 2 wins throughout their Olympic Sevens campaign so far, but they are both through to the semi-final. We're to watch in the UK. I believe it's on BBC for you guys in the UK. And in South Africa, I believe it is on Super Sport. It may be on SABC as well, so I would give that a quick look if you are in South Africa, see whether or not it is an option for being a watch. It's going to be important who scores first. Can't chase games like these, says Rugby. And yeah, France and South Africa both getting off to great starts in their quarterfinals. South Africa scoring early up against New Zealand. France getting themselves a 21-0 lead over Argentina. Now, as Argentina started to fight back, it seemed like maybe there was a chance of a comeback. But then that last try from Antoine Dupont to help just secure the deal and get them through to the semis. But the crowd have come alive now. 69,000 in attendance for this game. I can't reiterate how massive of a crowd and how massive of an occasion it is to play in an Olympics semi-final. But there is one occasion, ladies and gentlemen, or perhaps two, that are considered just that little bit higher. The gold medal final and the bronze final as well. Any recommended live streaming to watch this game, says McKee. It does depend on whereabouts you are in the world. For South Africa, like I mentioned, I believe it is on SABC Plus. For us here in New Zealand, I am watching on Sky Sport. And this is an amazing starting side for the Blitzboks, says Rowan. Yeah, all the players who are in that starting side have more than enough capabilities of being able to get themselves a victory here. The big thing is going to be, can they put it together for 14 minutes? Because that's all it is. I can't see it on BBC or iPlayer or Eurosport, says Sion. And there as well. And that is an amazing starting side for the Blitzboks. And man, oh man, this is a thriller. I see a repeat of the Rugby World Cup final 21-20 in favour of the South Africans. Same mindset required to defeat France today, says Clifford. And yeah, they have to go out there on the field, put behind what has happened on the other days. Because both of these teams, you'd have to argue, haven't had the best run heading into the final. But they are still here at the semi-final with an opportunity to go on and win the Olympic gold medal. Looking through at the pool play for the South Africans, they suffered 2 losses in a row, one to Ireland, one to New Zealand, but then they right those wrongs in that quarterfinal where they were able to beat New Zealand and also have a massive winning margin over the Japanese in their last pool stage match. For the French, they had a draw as their opening contest of their group stage. Then from there, getting themselves a win and a loss, losing to Fiji that they could face in either the gold medal final or maybe the bronze medal final. Could be a possibility just around the corner. 17-14 as Maggie's prediction there. I put $10 on South Africa. Let's go, says Will. And to be honest, I was surprised at how big of an underdog these South Africans are heading into this contest. They are $2.70 underdogs here in New Zealand, which I think is crazy. Because for me, this game is 50-50, if not maybe a little bit in favour of the South Africans. I guess home field advantage is the thing that is really pushing France up in terms of the odds. But for me, when you look through at the season of the Sevens, the fact that South Africa are 2-0 up in terms of being able to beat France. One of those games, though, only separated by 1 point. It's those type of margins that could be the difference in this game. So they have to make sure that they are clinical and they have to make sure they're getting those kicks over. But the South Africans have made their way out onto the field. France doing the same as this semi-final is about to take place. Go the Bok. We know what you don't. Says Adele there. It's supposed to be on BBC, but the other Olympic Games are on instead. Says Sam Stone. I know that happened in New Zealand with the tennis a little while ago. My mum was trying to watch the tennis. She wasn't able to see it because some random other people were playing. I feel sick. I can't watch. Says red line there, and we have got 14 minutes of all-out action between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. I will mention, if you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here. South Africans thrive as underdogs. We love pressure, says Nico. And there as well. And yeah, like being an underdog will make no difference for South Africa. They lost their first 2 games of the competition. That made no difference. Since then, they've been perfect. And they've won their 2 next games. When's the game starting? It is just about to. Both of these sides are on the field. The whistle is about to be blown. And we are about to be underway for the semi-final for the ages. South Africa versus the host France. And it will be the French who are kicking this one off with Steven Perez Martin. Kicked off long and nicely, taken by Selvin Davids inside of the South African 22. Now, I should mention the conditions today are a lot worse than yesterday. There's some rain and a kick from inside of the 22 was Roscoe Speckman. South Africa deciding the touchline is their best friend in this contest, and they don't want to take that risk of having France get themselves a counter-attack inside of Blitzboks territory. And thanks for the excellent commentary. Much appreciated, says Clifford. And thank you very much for being here, mate. It is hugely appreciated, every single one of you, for tuning in. Like I mentioned, if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are covering the next game for the Blitzboks as well as France, the bronze final and the gold. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you can. Steven Perez Martin now with the line-out throw from about 35 metres out here. Andy Timo claims Rebage going across to Pauline Riva. He's had a huge amount of experience under his belt for the French. And here comes Grandier. Beautiful step, but he can't get his offload away. Rebage. Steven Perez Martin finds Riva, who will now go to the left-hand side. Another step inwards. And Zedar shut down by Tristan Lades and Zane Davids. This game, it's a knock-on from Steven Perez Martin. There were question marks, should he have been in the starting side ahead of Antoine Dupont? They have decided to go with him, and that is a mistake that he certainly could not afford. Come on, South Africa, says LFG, biggest sevens crowd I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing, says Jamie. And yet 69,000 watching on, and they are singing that French national anthem at the top of their lungs, but there are a few green and gold supporters amongst the crowd still cheering behind their Blitzboks team. 5 minutes remaining in this first half, though, still 0-0 after the first 2 minutes. We're going to have a scrum reset. Time is off. And South Africa 12, France 10 is the prediction from Walter. Slippery out there. Yep. Definitely more slippery than it was yesterday. The rain is still falling as well, so that could play factor later on in the contest, the further through the match we get. Dupont massively overrated hype job. I would disagree in terms of sevens. He has single-handedly helped them get to the stage that they are in at the moment. And, whether or not he is maybe a little tiny bit overhyped, I still feel like the hype, to a certain extent, is justified when you watch him out there on the field, and he could change this game for France in the second half. That's going to be the penalty against Shilton van Wyk. Where are they on the pitch for the scrum, says Rugby. This one here, the penalty will go the way of France, and they will be 45 metres out from their own line. So there is still plenty of meterage to be made. They've decided to go with a quick tap, though. Pauline Riva hanging on to this one. Rebage. Now another handling error from Steven Perez Martin, maybe feeling a little bit of that pressure with the slippery fingers. Beautiful fend there. Joseph going down the wing. Inside ball to Steven Perez Martin. He will be tackled by Impivisa, and he's knocked it on in the process. Cleaned up by South Africa, and they will go back for the original scrum. Is the crowd large? It is 69,000, the largest crowd we have ever had for a sevens event, and throughout the men's and the women's sevens, they have the possibility of around 500,000 in attendance for the whole series, which is massive. That is unheard of for sevens. As a South African, I can't recognise Dupont as a top 5 player, or I can recognise Dupont as a top 5 player. CSK in there, and thank you for your commentary, says Frederick. Thank you very much. Where can I watch? Depends on whereabouts you are in the world. I know in South Africa it is on SABC, so I would recommend checking out that option. But now it's going to be the scrum feed here for the South Africans. They are inside of the 22. Shilton van Wyk gets it across to Roscoe Speckman. Going to be tackled well, 22 metres out from their own line here. South Africa, they have not entered the French half as of yet, but here comes Selvin Davids. Missed pass there, and it's going to just go into touch. Impivisa, I think he was pushed there by Andy Timo. Are they going to check it? We have there's such a shame that the National France channel broadcasting the match, says Cassie in there as well. Wait, as in the French Rugby channel are showing it, Casey. And Dupont is an amazing overall player. He is insane when he plays, says Aniko. Yeah, Impivesa complaining about a push. It's going to be a line-out throw, not straight from France. Little mistakes that you just cannot afford to be making in a final like this. Unfortunately, Steven Perez-Martin, like they've just said, that's 3 errors now against that man single-handedly. He didn't have the straight line-out. I feel like Dupont is not too far away from making his way onto the field. To be honest, I don't think that they can afford to have him out there if he's going to make repeated errors in such an important game. You don't get many mistakes in sevens when you've only got 14 minutes to work with and you've already had 3 in the first 5. I think there'll be a change at halftime and there will be an Antoine Dupont on very soon. Now, it's going to be a scrum feed. No, in fact, they don't even get it. Selvin Davids with the free kick now due to the scrum pre-engaging. Shilton van Wyk goes for the kick in behind, a tactic that South Africa have used thoroughly throughout this sevens competition. Jonathan Joseph gets the offload to Grand Didier. Wanted the offload, but Shilton van Wyk has tied up the ball now. Pauline Riva, 5 metres out from their own line here. France, hospital pass, and it's going to be the knock-on. South Africa will have themselves the scrum in the perfect position on the field to then be able to go on and create a counter-attack and scrum. We have got their wet, slippery conditions. Yep, raining at the moment, 18 degrees Celsius, so about 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. But Ryan Usta's a great attacking shot into the midsection of Zedar, which knocked the ball free. And now South Africa, 5 metres out, have got the scrum feed. How's he watching the rugby? I'm watching on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. Sadly, there aren't too many free options, it does seem, in certain countries. If you're in South Africa, SABC Plus, or SABC, I believe it is. If you're in the UK, it's supposed to be on BBC, but I don't think they've got it on there at the moment. Springboks have created a new comp. It's called the Biltong Cup. Says Martin there. Sounds like a biltong eating contest, doesn't it? But I'm sure that there would be some very solid biltong eaters in South Africa. Loose ball. Tristan Lades gets it away to Ryan Oosterhuizen. Tackled again. Lades plays halfback. 50 seconds remaining in this first half of semi-final action. Zane Davids crash and run forward from that man. Looking for the counter ruck there from France. And that's going to be a knock-on from Tristan Lades. And nice commentary box can do this, says Dorian. And we have there showing boring cycling in the UK, says Matthew there. I don't know whether or not that's just the mindset of, like, because this doesn't involve, like, aside from Great Britain, or the side of Great Britain, I don't know whether that's why they aren't showing it, because, like, a semi-final surely takes the priority over, you know, a heat of some sort. I think the medal match is alive on BBC, says Gareth there. And too many mistakes, says Jazz. Yeah, although I think that's pressure, isn't it? Both sides are feeling that same. That's a massive counter scrum there from the South Africans. Oh, okay, it's come out of the same tunnel with the scrum they've just mentioned, which is why it is not a penalty for South Africa. We have there Rassi as the water carrier. Thought he was banned. He is not carrying the water in this one that I know of, unless he's made the trip over to France. I think he's got prior commitments, though, with the Rugby Championship that is happening just around the corner. But now it's going to be a scrum feed for the French. They are only 10 metres out from their line, so I believe the best option here is to boot this ball into touch. It looks like Pauline Riva, though. He wants to still play. That is a huge risk for the French. I don't know if they can afford to do this. Joseph Jefferson-Lee, he's going to be tackled in his in-goal area. It's taken back, but it's half-time. It could have been a 5-metre scrum if there was any time left on the clock, but there was not. Half-time in the semi-final, 0-0 between these two sides. It is certainly a tight contest. One little mistake could be the difference for these two sides. I would say that South Africa looked like the better side throughout that first half, but I would say that France have survived well. They haven't allowed that try to show the game. Says McNeil, unfortunately, due to YouTube's copyright laws, any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube within 2 seconds. And then we would be banned for 3 months, and you still wouldn't be able to see the game. So it's one of those ones that hopefully we're able to provide you with a little bit of insight of what is happening throughout the contest with those ones who aren't able to have their broadcasters. And what are you watching it on? I'm watching on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. Depending on where you guys are in the world, the best bet is to go onto the Olympics website and see the Where to Watch tab, and then you'll be able to work out where you can watch it depending on where you are from. But halftime in this contest, 0-0 between the two sides. The second half is going to be massive. Discipline is a huge letdown, says Nico. And France are on fire, but South Africa not capitalising on it, says Mr. All-In. And yeah, certainly more injuries, or sorry, not injuries, certainly more handling errors coming from the French throughout that first half, although South Africa still had their fair share of them. We have got there how you feel now that the All Blacks are knocked out, says Clint. I feel the exact same way as if they were still here. As you guys know, we cover these games as close down the middle as we physically can. New Zealand not good enough in that quarterfinal. South Africa's defence, I think, was some of the best we have seen from them throughout the competition, if not the last few legs of the Sevens as well. So thoroughly deserving of making their way through to the semi-final. We have got there. Thanks for your commentary, Hamish. Top notch. As usual, says Russell. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back for the bronze medal final, as well as the final just around the corner. So if you do want to support us, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The halftime break is over, which does mean we now only have 7 minutes remaining. Now, if the score was to remain at 0-0 in this match, we would go to golden point time. We've already seen golden point time once today. Are we going to see it again this time in the semi-final? It will be Selvin Davids kicking off. He has scored every time up against the French that they have played throughout 2023-24 season. So can he do the same? Another player who falls into that category is actually Tristan Lades. Nicely taken by Steven Perez-Martin. I am surprised that they've left that man out there on the field rather than bringing on Antoine Dupont. Hamish, you've upped your game on the close. Well done on that man suit tie. Says Martin, nice counter-ruck there, coming from the South Africans. And now Ryan Oosthuizen on the short side. It's going to be tackled by Andy Timo. Perfect position on the field now for South Africa to attack. Tristan Lades goes across to Selvin Davids. He's the X-Factor. And Selvin Davids gets the pass out wide to Speckman. That's a risky offload, but he had to do it as they were in the field of play and just about pushed out. Kick downfield from Steven Perez-Martin. And that is a very good kick from where he was inside of his in-goal area. This tempo that this game is being played at is absolutely frantic. But great work from Steven Perez-Martin to get that kick away. Lades maybe out of position a little bit. Wasn't able to capitalise on the chance of a charge down. Right, here we go. Antoine Dupont now, ladies and gentlemen, is making his way onto the field. Dupont think too much of himself, says Jade. I wouldn't know because I don't speak French. And I don't think that man's English is that good, so I haven't really heard him talk too much. We have got there good defence, Frogs, says Hanoi, and where can I watch it, says Benny. Depends on whereabouts you are in the world. In South Africa, I believe it's on SABC as your best option. Antoine Dupont now, can he be the game changer that the South African side require? Or sorry, that this French side require. Of course, South Africa will still want to knock him down a peg or two, though. Oh, it's another drop ball this time. Pauline River is the man who has dropped it. This is the type of moment that South Africa needed. And this is exactly where they will want to be on the field. Good pass from Dupont, but unfortunately, River, as he went to pass it, because of the wet conditions, this game has been completely changed to what it would have been if it was dry. And I think that may actually bring in more kicking from South Africa. Does no one own a telly anymore, says Fluffy. How can I see it in the UK? Unfortunately, it was supposed to be on BBC, but it seems like the BBC have decided not to show this, which I find really, really strange, seeing as it is a semi-final. It's going to be scrum feed. Selvin Davids goes across to Tristan Lades. Shilton van Wyk. Tackle well there. South Africa joining the breakdown. Roscoe Speckman again will go to the left-hand side. Selvin Davids, he's got 2 men on his outside, but he steps through anyway. 5 metres out from the try line. Dupont over the ball, but he doesn't get the penalty. In fact, he's been done for side entry. That was a close to being a turnover for the French, but now Selvin Davids, one more over the top. Tristan Lades to continue his scoring rate up against the French. He has scored it in the corner. And that is going to be the try now for the Blitzboks. MacMel, such a joke, this coverage, says MacMel. Well, fun fact, you do not have to watch it. Come on, Bok. Show this Genocide Supporters France, says Igor and BBC. And also we have their try. South Africa, says Lilia, but beautiful run out wide and then gets the ball down. Tristan Lades. This gives the South Africans the lead. How can I watch this? Says Harry, you've got to go onto the Olympics website because I don't really know all of the broadcasts are overseas. I know in New Zealand it's on Sky Sport now, but that's only available here in New Zealand. That one is going to miss away to the side for Tristan Lades, which now makes the score 5-0 in favour of the South Africans. You can see what it means to them as well. They need one more try, I would say, at least, to well and truly confirm this game. The last thing that you want is to leave it to chance. Have you got pants on, mate? I do, but not the dress pants. I got like just track pants on at the moment. You're on fire, Hamish. Great call, mate. Says HD23. Thank you very much, mate. Selvin Davids now will kick this one off for the South Africans. Nicely taken by Jordan Sefo after a bit of a juggle. Here comes Antoine Dupont. Manages to bust through one tackle, but is dragged down by Zane Davids. Ball's still there. Sean Williams is actually onto the field now for Tristan Lades. He was the sub that they decided to make. France with the offload. Rebage has done extremely well to hang on to it after it bounces off his chest into his hands. Pasquet going to the left-hand side. Dupont now. Pass on the outside to Grandidier. He was very evident throughout their game up against Argentina in the quarters. We've hardly seen him in the semi. Dupont plays half again, going to the right-hand side. Pauline Riva, just like the first half. The team going from right to left, haven't busted through, but here comes Pasquet. Zane Davids will not win the foot race. Roscoe Speckman pins his ears back. France will score it between the posts, and they'll take the lead with 3 minutes to go. Ryan Rebage, unfortunately, Zane Davids, he found himself in the one position he didn't want to be. Sweeper, fullback. Not quite the pace of the wingers who were flying down the middle. Pasquet with a huge amount of pace. But we're 5-5 now in this game. Who was it who missed the tackle? Sean Williams got sold the wrong way. Roscoe Speckman, decent effort to get back there and try and stop them. But then it was a 3-on-1 and France score it between the sticks. The kick was to come, but it's straight out in front. So that will make the score now 7-5 in favour of the Boks. How did the Boks miss the kick, says Igor? It was a tough one. Way out by the sideline from the try of Tristan Lades. And cycling on in the UK, thanks for this. Got a bet on South Africa to win gold, fingers crossed, says Jean there. And the jabber Ryan Rebage is trying to put an end to those South African hopes, but this game is far from over, ladies and gents. It's kicked off high by France. Roscoe Speckman, he was challenged in the air. Could have been close to the penalty, but France are back in position with only 1 minute 50 remaining. Here comes Antoine Dupont. Another step from Pasquet. The South African defence has made way, and he is going to be held up by Sean Williams. That is fantastic work, but it's still going to be a 5-metre scrum here for the French. They want to check it to see if he's got the ground. I don't believe he's got this one down, but it will still be, because it's held up and we are under the Sevens laws rather than Union, this will still be a 5-metre scrum for France if this is held up. But I think, yeah, it's Ronald Brown actually who has got under there to stop him from being able to put that ball down. But there's only 1 minute remaining, and the South Africans, they still have time, but this is going to be a very tricky one to defend when they're only 5 metres out from their try line. It's going to be called as no try, and France to pick up the gold, says John. And these blokes don't want, or know what an offload is, says JDB, but that is where the struggles come in. Because of the wet conditions, it makes it much more challenging to get your effective offloads away. Now, 90 seconds actually left on the clock rather than 50. They have put the clock back up to where it was. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently only 120 away from the goal for this live stream. So if you do want to help us get there, we've got over 2,000 people watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are going to be back with plenty more of the Sevens, the bronze medal final, the gold medal final. The question is, which of these two sides are going to be advancing to which one? Antoine Dupont with the skip pass. It's a drop ball from the French, and that is a knock on South Africa. It's a penalty against South Africa, caught offside. And just like that, the quick tap's taken. Rebage is gone. We didn't even have the coverage. We were seeing the replay. And that is going to be the second try of the match for the French. That is impressive game awareness from Antoine Dupont. Taking the quick tap, getting it away to Rebage. And that is going to be the try, ladies and gentlemen. Dupont, 5 metres out from the line. Little short ball. South Africa were caught out. I think they were still surprised with the fact that they were given an offside against them. And France Sevens says Chris in there as well. And that one will secure it for the French if this kick does go over. And what that really a penalty. So they have pinged Shilton van Wyk twice in this game for offside. And unfortunately for him, that one has cost them big time. And someone with money needs to sue BBC for false advertisement, says Shin. Sadly, that will not be me. I do not have big money. I spent all my money on the suit, sadly, but that is now going to be the ball for South Africa. They are inside of their own 22, and they have to try and march their way forward. They've made another mistake with their handling. Here comes Sifiwe Soyezwape. France can get this ball. They will want to end the game as quickly as possible. Nice step from Tian Pretorius. The box may be down, but they are not out. They still want one more try. Roscoe Speckman going across there to Sifiwe Soyezwape. In fact, it's Sean Williams this time. It wasn't offside, says Litherboy. And now it's another ball for the French. They will score their third try of the match. 21 points to 5 is how this game is going to end. And for the South Africans, they are now going head-to-head with the loser of Australia versus Fiji. And whoever wins that game will be taking on the French in the final of the competition. Let's go France. And also penalties which France commits are overseen. Says Johanna, what a beating. Says Ben CB and thought this game would be 180, 187. I thought so. I thought it was a real game that could have gone either way. And we have got there was France, the underdogs. They were the favourites going into this game. Antoine Dupont, once again, the man of the hour. They are talking about him. Every single performance for the French. He's got the big smile on his face. He's done something in this game that he wasn't able to do in that Union World Cup, and that has beat South Africa. So now he looks towards that final. And that BBC a joke. Yeah, I think it's really poor from the BBC that they said that they were showing this game and then just haven't. What's the next semi? It is going to be Fiji versus Australia. So if you guys are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You'll be in here after the abysmal season. I was surprised. We even made the semis. Thanks for another brilliant commentary, Kiwi lad, says Daryl. And that's the thing, like, it's a massive achievement, I believe, for South Africa. Like you said, they're still playing for the bronze, which is more than after losing their first two games people were expecting. And the Blitzboks side, they are a team of momentum. The fact that they had a whole extra 24 hours before they played this game, perhaps that has something to do with it, the wet conditions. Like, there are things that we could look at that could have changed this contest, but France also were just very strong throughout that second half. We've got to remember, at halftime it was 0-0 between these two teams. To end this game with 4 tries on the board at the end of it, it's a pretty impressive game, and it just shows how quickly Sevens can change as well. But I look forward to the next game. This next game for the South Africans, for anyone wondering, will be taking place at, I believe it is 5 a.m. New Zealand time or 7 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. And we are going to be back. We are going to be covering it. They still have the chance of lifting that bronze medal. Well, they don't really lift a medal. They will put it around their neck, and then I guess you could lift it if you hold it, but it's not the same as lifting, of course, a trophy. It will be the gold medal. I've dug myself a hole. A medal you can still lift, of course, because you have to take it off, but either way, they have a chance for a medal going up against whoever loses Australia versus Fiji, which is just around the corner, 2 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned, the ref was paid for France to win. They could not have another World Cup. Says Angie there. Roots out. The sack says Eric J and 5 a.m. bad time. I admired your commitment, Hamish. And also we played French. Great for the home crowd and great suit. And thanks for the great commentary, fella, says Graham there as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are transferring straight over to our next stream, which is Fiji versus Australia. So if you are new, be sure to check that out as well. And I will see you all for the next one.